Okay, welcome everyone. As we all know, this is the last night of the year. As such, everything should be done with a little bit more mindfulness. So, of course, we learn to be Mekayim the mitzvah d'abar tabam, l'asos nachas ruach liyitzreinu. Our wives should earn the merit of our learning as well. We do it in partnership with them. And we have two special sponsorships tonight. Yitzi Moller is sponsoring tonight's shir. Lili Nishmas, his grandfather's yahrzeit. His grandfather was a musmach of the Minchas Elazar. So that's Moshe Aryeh ben Yaakov. His neshama should have an aliyah. He should be a meltz yosher for his family, for all of us, and all of Klal Yisrael. Shelley Zeitlin is also sponsoring tonight's shir. It's his mother's yahrzeit on the second day of Rosh Hashanah. Sarah Miriam Bas Yoina HaKayin. Her neshama should have an aliyah. She should be a melitzas yosher for her family, for all of us, and all of Klal Yisrael. We are sponsored in our tour through this Masechta by Shalom Fogel, Inismas Yaakov Zeb and Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam Bas Gad, Yosef ben Siyam ben Yaakov Zeb, by Baruch Ian, Lili Nishmas Yaakov Chaim ben Abba, Esther Bas Gittel, Avram ben Shmuel HaKayin, by Yaakov Yumansky, with Akaras HaTayv to the Rav, the Zoom family, and Nachas from children and grandchildren, by A.B. Sribe, Nachas from children and grandchildren, Ed Sala from London, and Joshua Rosenberg, a virtual Talmud. You know, Chaim, you could come and sit in your Makom Kavua.
Did you get the website from Rashi?
What?
Did you get the website from Rashi?
Yes.
Rashi.
Yes.
So you're going to sign up for
Yes, we do, like I mentioned by Mincha, we train our thoughts to Eretz Yisrael. It was a very difficult day in Eretz Yisrael. First of all, there was a tragedy in Jaffa, and also long-range missiles are being shot from Iran. Missiles did hit central Eretz Yisrael. People in Yerushalayim were repeatedly sent to the miklat. Municipal rules are that there cannot be, and it's mamish sounds like COVID, there can't be any gatherings of more than 300 people, and schools could only be open if they have requisite miklat facilities for all the children. So it is a serious, frightening time for people living in Eretz Yisrael. Unlike what they usually say, that people in Eretz Yisrael don't know what's going on, we know better. That is not the case today. They had a very, very hard day. We are holding on Daf Kuf Amud Aleph, getting into triple digits, 2 lines from the top. So if you remember, what happened is Marshall had a public path going through his field, and he decided it's a pain in the neck. So he diverted the public field to the side, and he took back his field he diverted and gave a path on the side, and he took back his path in the middle. So the Mishnah paskins that what he gave them they keep, but what he took away he doesn't get back. And if you remember, we explained that it's either because we're afraid that if he takes it away he might give a crooked path, or we said that you can't take it away because for whatever is good for one person is further for the other person. But now the Gemara says, okay, so if he doesn't get what he took back, so then why do they get to keep what he gave them? V'leimalahu, 2 lines from the top. V'leimalahu, shaklu didchu, so take your old path, v'havalili didi, give me back the new one. Says the Gemara, Hamani Rebbe Eliezer. This is going according to Rebbe Eliezer. The Tanya Rebbe Yehuda Aimer Mishum Rebbe Eliezer, Rabbim Sheberu Derech La'atzman, if a public comes and chooses a path for themselves, Masha Beru Beru. Says the Gemara, I don't understand. The public could be thieves? Rebbe Eliezer, Rabbim Gazlonim, they know. The public is successful thieves. How could they just come in? I know it's Marshall, but how could they come into his property and take what's his? Rav Gidel Amarav. So Rav Gidel explains, Kigain she'avdolahem derech ba'isasad. It's talking about where the public had a path through the field. They lost its exact location, so they could come and choose it. Says the Gemara, but if that's the case, Ihachi, Amai Amar Rabba Barafuna Amarav, why did Rabba Barafuna say in the name of Rav, Ein Allah Kurabalaza? So the Gemara says, you're right. Man demas neha, the one who teaches that Ein Allah Kurabalazer, loy mas neha, does not teach that it's talking about in a qualified case where the public lost their path. Now, the time of my, what's the reason? What would be the reason that now here again? Here again. You see, the those that say that Rebbe Eliezer's statement is not reserved to a case where the public lost the path, so they say that the halacha is not like Rebbe Eliezer, and if the halacha is not like Rebbe Eliezer, then why can't Marshall take, if he doesn't have the right to strip them of the path in the middle of the field, why can't he give them back the path that he gave them as a replacement? The time of Mai says the Gemara Mishum de Rabbi Yehuda. It's because of a well-known statement of Rabbi Yehuda. The Amar Rabbi Yehuda Meitzer Shehirzik by Rabbim. If there is an elevated border of someone's field, and the Rabbim took possession of it, and the owner didn't say anything. In other words, initially they leveled it off, and they used it as a path. After all, it's only the perimeter of the field, and the owner knew, and he was quiet. Why? He was okay with it. And then one day his wife said, that's our border. What are they doing traipsing on our border? Too late. Meitzer she'irzik by Rabbim also to calculate. Now that's in a case where the owner never gave it. He just didn't say anything. Here where Marshall gave it to them, and now he wants to take it back because he heard he can't take the original one back, it's too late. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Eliezer, and Rabbi Eliezer who says that a public chooses a path for themselves, they get to keep it. How do they acquire it? What's the means of kinyan? B'mai konile, b'hilucha. They acquire it by walking through it. The Tanya, we learned, halach bala orka u'l'rakva. If Ruvain buys a property and he walks the length of the breadth of the property, he acquires it. Let's see it inside. The Tanya halach bala orka u'rakva kana makam iluchai. he acquires the place where he walked. Divrei Rebbe Eliezer. Chacham say, it says karka niknas b'keser b'shtara b'chazaka. It doesn't say karka is acquired with hilucha. V'chachamim ein hilach moyel klum. Walking doesn't help at all as an acquisition ad sheyazik, until you make an improvement. Like we said, null if you locked it or you made an opening. So the Gemara says, Taka, what's the reason of Rebbe Eliezer? Says the Gemara, Amar Rebbe Eliezer, my time of the Rebbe Eliezer. What's the reason of Rebbe Eliezer? I don't believe I welcomed everybody tonight. Did I? No. Very rude of me. The last night of the year. What's going to be? We welcome in Saba and Mel Zachter and Gedalia Engel and Shalom Fogel. Shalom, I think, is traveling in a spaceship. Shelley Zeitlin and Marshall Castle, Irving Fishbaum, Yitzi Muller, Dr. Guy, Ruvain Pollack, Dr. Block, Mo Kushner. Great to have you, Mo.
Gewenst to you.
Gebench to you. It should be a gesund to you. No scares, no hospitals this year.
No man.
Gedalia Engel, Menachem Yemansky, Yitzi Muller, Stephen Holtzman, Rabbi Kranz, Nachman Chapler. Nachman, I want to see you more often. We're really missing you. I want you to know, Nachman, the shul is not the same when you're not here. At least for me, it's not the same. I really want to see you. We need your schusim. Avram Schenkman, Moshe Lehman, Aaron Swade, Yeshua Shmuel Eisberg, Avram Rezepkowitz, Ilya Shutman, Naftali Jablin, Abe Arbach, Richard Rosenzweig. Richard, if you could come on so we could all wish you a Ksiva v'Chasima Taiva, it would be very great. And we have David Healthgard on Kol Losh. And here in the shul, we have Berish Gesseman, we have Michal Avram Chavin, Chaim Kramer, Ruvain Shannon. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'dvaro. Amen. So Amar Rebbe Eliezer, the Chacham said very good. How does walking acquire? What does that help? Amar Rebbe Eliezer, my time in the Rebbe Eliezer. Because we find such a method by Avraham Avinu. Dichsiv kum his alech. Hashem told them, go and walk ba'aretz la'orka u'lerachba, its length and its breadth. Ki l'cha et nena. So you see that Avraham Avinu acquired it. Good year, Richard. You see that he acquired it by walking the length and breadth of Eretz Yisrael. The Rabbanan say no, that wasn't an acquisition. Actually, the acquisition happened later when Klal Yisrael conquered the land. However, we know that Maisa Avos Siman Labanim, that what the Avos did gave a koyach for their children. For example, we know that Avraham Avinu went to Shechem because he saw that later on there would be a terrible battle in Shechem. Shimon and Levi would fight with the entire city of Shechem, so his going there helped. So this wasn't a kinyan, but rather it was Rabban Hasan Mishum Chavivuso Avramu Deka Amalehachi. He did it out of Hashem told Avram to walk there out of love for Avram, so that it should be easier. It should be easier to conquer before the children. It's always a fascinating thing that it's always fascinating that Rashi says that Avram went to Shechem because he saw that there would be the danger of Shimon and Levi battling Shechem. But two other things happened at Shechem, and that was that Yosef was over there sold, and Dinah was violated, right? And it doesn't say that Avram Avinu did anything for that. So that that is a very complex study. That if Avram Avinu would have stopped Dinah from getting raped, there would be no Asnas. And then there would be no Ephraim and Menashe from Yosef. So that would have been very complex. Right? And the same thing is true, if Avram Avinu would have stopped Yosef from being sold, then he wouldn't have got down to Mitzrayim, and he wouldn't be there as a viceroy to save Klal Yisrael in the time of famine. So these are, it's like they say, be very careful how you manipulate the future. Mark is very careful not to manipulate the future.
Rabbi.
I've noticed, I was thinking about rolling out the green carpet for you.
Necessary. I figure if I show up a little late, you won't use me as an example.
Okay, so let me use you as an example.
Late, buddy.
Mark, did you try to call me before?
Yes, Rabbi, but no worries. We can talk tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Why is my battery on this low if I have it plugged in? Because the plug is out. Whenever the cleaning lady, she means well, but she moves all the plugs. Okay.
Oh, we can't be macabre there.
Well, it's not so simple. First of all, she's a Goya. That's number one. Number two, I didn't say anything. I said it's not a problem. She's washing the floor. But you know something? If you're makbid on Lashon Hara to that extent, Marshall, it's a good thing. It is brought down that there is, they talk about if you're in an office and you want to say something about a coworker that's a guy. So they say that you shouldn't do it because then you're getting yourself used to talking bad about other people. And it's not good to get yourself used to doing that. Right, Marshall?
It's so easy not to.
Now, right. It's interesting that when the Chavetz Chaim wrote the Sefer of the Chavetz Chaim, he sent a copy to Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, the head of the Muslim movement, for a haskama. So Rabbi Yisrael Salanter learned through the whole Chavetz Chaim, and he agreed with everything that the Chavetz Chaim writes, except for one thing. One thing. What was the one thing? The Chavetz Chaim writes that if you spoke Lashon Hara about someone, then you have to ask them mechila. So Rabbi Yisrael Salanter said that if you ask them mechila, you'll cause them pain that it happened, then you shouldn't ask. So the Chavetz Chaim responded that his psak is a beferish Rabbeinu Yaina in Shari Tshuva. You have to ask mechila. Reb Chaim said, however, that in this the olam is noyeg, like Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, and not like the Chavetz Chaim. It's very interesting. There he is.
Pick me up and don't ask
There he is.
forgiveness. I got it.
Ruvain, that in yeshiva, that was the syllabus that we used in Elul. That's the syllabus of Elul, is the Shai Tshuva L'Rabbeinu Yaina. Anyway, says the Gemara, what did Rabbanan do? Says the Gemara, Amr Rab Yaisi Rab Chanina, Moidim Chachamim L'Rab Eliezer. The Chachamim agree with Reb Eliezer that you could acquire something by walking b'shvil shel kramim, if you're acquiring a path through a vineyard, since its only purpose and function is for walking, nikna behilach. It could be acquired with walking. It's a big chiddush. When somebody came to Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Ami and asked, I bought a path in a vineyard, how wide a path do I get? Amalahu, so he said, Havule, give him, Kiechi de dore tuna de shivishta. It has to be wide enough that if a person is carrying a bundle of twigs on his back, v'hadar, that he could turn with it. That's how big, wide he has to give him. V'lo yamran ela de mesaymen mechitzasa, but that's only if there's walls on either side, like vines on either side. So you have to give him that amount. Avaloi mesaymen mechitzasa, if there's no walls, so therefore nothing is going to stop with what he is walking, as we welcome in Jack Silverman and Elliot Udell. So then, if there's no walls on the side, then you only have to give him the area of where his feet are, 1 foot in front of the other foot. Enough room for him to pick up his foot and put down his foot. Now, derech hayochid dalet amas, a private path is 4 amas. The idea of 4 amas is that it's wide enough for a wagon. Tana acherim aimim kidei sheyaver chamor b'masai. You don't have to give him enough for a wagon if it's a private path. It only has to be wide enough for a donkey with its burden. Amar Rav Huna halacha k'acherim. The law is like the acherim. Dainei Gaila, the judges of Gaila, which we said was Shmuel and Karna, Shnei Gamdin u'machzah, 2.5 amas. Vam Rav Huna, halacha k'dainei Gaila. The law is like the Dainei Gaila. The Gemara says, but you just said that the halacha is like the acherim. Vam Rav Huna halacha k'acherim. Says the Gemara, Aidi ve'aidi chad shiuru. They're both one shear. The shear of the width of a donkey and the shear of 2.5 amas is the same shear. Okay, 3 lines from the bottom of Daf Kuf Amud Aleph, and like Mark said, there's no question that whenever you're able to come. Somebody told me, well, it was late, I didn't feel like coming on the shir. Even the last 5 minutes come on. It's, every minute of learning is precious, and when you don't come on, I worry about you, I know that Mark sometimes gets stuck on a piece of bubble gum and stuff like that, but, now, Derech Harabim, a public path, is Sheish Esrei Amma, is 16 Amas. The idea of 16 Amas, so let's see. Tan Rabban, Derech HaYochid, a private path, Arba Amas. Derech Be'ir Le'ir, if it's only a road from city to city. In other words, it's not a wider highway. It's not a public throughway that comes even from other provinces. It's only a smaller highway from city to city. It's enough Shmei Amas. That's a 1-lane highway both ways, that it could fit 2 wagons going in different directions. However, as we turn to Kuf Amud Beis, Derech Harabim, if it's Kagoin Ir Sheyesh Ba Maver Shabon Derech Sham Me'eretz Rechaika, the Rashbam says, if it's coming from far away, what we call an interstate highway, then it has to be Sheish Esrei Amas. It has to be 16 Amas. That would be 2-lane traffic either way. Derech Orei Miklat, if it's the road where a person who killed B'Shogeg is running in order to save his life, so there we want to give him a lot of room. There shouldn't be any gridlock for him. Then it has to be Shloshim Ushtayim Amas, 32 Amas. Amar Rav Huna Maikra, where we have a reference that it has to be double even a derech harabim. Dichsiv tochen lecha haderech, prepare for you the road. It could have said tochen lecha derech. The haderech doubles it. Derech haderech, so derech would be 16. Haderech is 32 amas. Derech HaMelech ein lo shir. The road for the king has no maximum. The king comes, if his entourage is large, then he just keeps on coming. He could even knock down fences in order to proceed. Shamelech poiretz geder, because the king can breach fences, lasses derech, to make this is royal rights to make for himself a road. Ve'ein memachin biyadei, and nobody can stop him. Derech hakever ein lo shir. The funeral procession could pass even. They can't knock down fences, but they could pass even through private property, mishum yakur deshachva, because of the honor of the deceased. Now, if you remember, we talked about mamodos, and that if a person buys a maimed, we're going to discuss now what a maimed is. A maimed, dainei tzibur purei amru. The judges of Tzipure say if somebody brought a private place to make the mamodos, he has to give him an area of bas dalid kavan. Now, Tana Rabbana, hamoicher kivroi. Let's say a person was a destitute person, and in order to raise money for food, he sold his family kever, his plot in the family crypt. Or derech kivroi, the road to his kever. Mokem mamodi, the place where they made the mamodas, which we'll explain shortly. Or beis hesped, or the place where they would eulogize him. So the din is that the family, if it wasn't used yet, of course, the family can come and take it back and bury him in the family plot, reimbursing the buyer. Ba'am b'nei mishpacha v'koivin aisai al korchai, and bury him against the buyer's will, mishum pgam mishpacha, because it would be dishonoring and a blemish to the family that he should be buried somewhere else and not in the family's plot. People will say, so what? He couldn't afford to be in the family plot, and that would be a busha to the family. Now, what are mamodas? Now, you have to understand that these mamodas we don't do anymore. We do what's called mamodas. We on the way to the burial, we make, on days that we say Tachnun, we make 7 stops. And we say Yoshev B'Seiser El Yain, and we stop by an additional word in Yoshev B'Seiser each of the stops. And we say Yoshev B'Seiser 7 times, and each time we move the aron a little bit, we stop, we say Yoshev B'Seiser, then we do it again, and we do it 7 times until we bury the body. In schus of learning about this, we should all be zeichet to live a very long life. This was not the mamodos done at the time of the Gemara. At the time of the Gemara, after the burial, they came to a place for the mamodos, and they would walk, and the leader would say, sit. They would talk about the mace, then he would say stand. They would walk a little bit more, he would say sit, and then speak a little bit about the mace, and stand. Those were the mamodos. Now, Tana Rabbanan ein peichsin mishiva mamodos u'moshavos. We don't do less than 7 standings and sittings, l'meis. Keneged hevel havolim amar kehelis. Vanity of vanities, says kehelis. Hevel havolim, vanity of vanities, hakol hevel. So that's 7. Hevel is 1, havolim is 2, because miyat rabbim mishnaim, so that's 3. Then hevel havolim is another 3 is 6, and then hakol hevel, that's 7. Now the 7 represents either the 7 decades that a person lives, at least, right? Yemei Shneisenu Bahem Shivim Shana, or it represents the 7 days of the creation of the world, and all creations come to an end. Now, what does it have to do with Hevel? The answer is that, and I want you to know that, remember, we're 2 days ahead. So this daf is the first daf of Rosh Hashanah. which is very fitting, because that's what all we think about on Rosh Hashanah is that we shouldn't fill our life with hevel. We shouldn't fill our life with the distractions of this world. We're Mekabel Hashem as our king, and we're going to do everything that is not hevel, right? It says in Koheles that whatever is Tachas HaShemesh is hevel. The Tachas HaShemesh is all that which is material. But that which is L'malam in HaShemesh, like Torah, that's what we should spend our life on. So, Amalei Rav Acha B'rei Rav Ashi, Heichi Ovdei. So Rav Acha, the son of Rava, asked Rav Ashi, Heichi Ovdei, how is this ceremony done? What is the procedure of this ceremony? Says the Gemara, Amalei Kedetanya, Amar Yehuda Yehuda, in Yehuda B'Rishayna, Lo Yayu Peichsin, initially they didn't do less Meshiva Mamadas Shavas Lameis. Kigain, what was the custom? Like I told you, the leaders said, Amdu Yikarim Amdu, stand up, precious ones, stand up, and then Shavu Yikarim Shavu, sit down, and they would talk about the mace. Amrullah, so he said, if that's all there is to it, Im Kain Af B'Shabbos Mutter Lasis Kain, you should be able to do Mamadas on Shabbos. And they never did Mamadas on Shabbos. Now, the Gemara is going to ask momentarily, what do you mean? Where would they be in a basic forest on Shabbos that they should do Mamadas? So the Gemara is going to answer that it could be that they buried a mace right before Shabbos, Friday, right before Shabbos. So then afterwards into Shabbos, if all it is just getting up and standing and sitting and talking about the mace, they should be able to do it even on Shabbos. And if you'll say, but you're not supposed to raise tears on Shabbos, but it says menachem mimavelim even on Shabbos. So comforting words and words in honor of the mace, you could be able to do on Shabbos. Now, the Gemara proceeds. Ach say the Rami Bar Papa, the sister of Rami Bar Papa, have a Nesiva Leila Rav Avia, was married to Rav Avia, Shchiva. And Rav Avia's wife, the sister of Rami Bar Papa, passed away. Le'aleinu. Ovid la Maimed u'Moshev. He did for her Maimed and Moshev. Amar Rav Yosef, so Rav Yosef says that he made a mistake in two areas. Ta betarte. He made a mistake in two things. Ta, she'ein oisin el b'kroivim. Only relatives do the mamadas. And he made it with strangers. You only do it the day of the burial. And he did it on the second day. Abaya says he made a third mistake. You only do it in the vicinity of the cemetery. And he did it in the city. Rava Amar, it was an error for a fourth reason. You only do it in a place where it was the custom to make mamadas. So the Gemara asks, Amrullah, he said to him, if all it is standing up and sitting and saying words about the mace, then im kain after Shabbos mutalasis kain. It should be permitted even on Shabbos. But if it's only done in the basic forest, if it's in the cemetery only on the day of the burial, basic forest b'Shabbos, my boy, what would be doing in a basic forest on Shabbos? You're not allowed to bury on Shabbos. Says Gemara, basic forest. It's talking about a city that's right near the cemetery. And they brought him right before Shabbos and buried him. So they were in there. Now, the Rishonim say over here, but technically, on Shabbos is not the first day anymore. If he was buried on Friday, then when Shabbos starts, it's the second day. And you said you're not supposed to do it on the second day. So the Rishonim say that over here, the night would follow the day and still be considered part of the first day for giving the eulogy. I want to point out over here an interesting thing that many Kevra Kadishas have a minig not to do Mamodos today, the 7 stops, with women. And they only do it with men. And what's interesting is from this Gemara, it would seem to be that of all the errors that they said they made, it doesn't say you're not supposed to do Mamodos for women, because this was a woman, Rav Avia's wife. So from this Gemara, it would imply that would be okay to do Mamodos for a woman. There are varying customs about this, but many Chevra Kadishas do not do the stops for a woman, they only do it for a man.
Why is Rav Avi considered not a Karov?
No, he was a Karev. But
so who did this?
He made it for a group of strangers, and not for a group of relatives.
Oh, the group.
The group.
Has to be.
Correct. Now, okay. So now, let me tell you what's going to happen now. I am going to learn a Mishnah Yomis now, but it's going to be a surprise attack. The Mishnah Yomis that I'm going to learn now, to get everybody confused, is going to be the Mishnah Yomis for tomorrow. Could you do me a favor and just look on the calendar what time Motzi Shabbos is, so I could tell the Eilam?
I thought we only want to get the something confused.
I think 9:15?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so first of all, because I know everybody is going to be concerned about it, Motzi Shabbos, which now, because we had the foresight to get 2 blot ahead, will be a normal Motzi Shabbos of just 2 blot, will be at 9:15. Motzi Shabbos, Erev Tzum Gedalia will be at 9:15. Also, very important, again, I want to thank everybody, those that are here on Zoom, those that are here in Shul, those that are listening on Kalaloshin and watching on TorahAnytime.com and on Facebook and on YouTube and wherever else you listen to me that I don't even know of, as I found that to be the case, which is fine. I don't mind. Anybody could carry my Torah. I don't care. I am eager to be Ma'abed's Torah in any way, shape, or form. I want to wish all of everybody and their families a ksiva v'chasima tova mesuka, a year with no health scares, a year of parnasa berevach u'v'chavon and shalom bayis, sweet shalom bayis, a year of nachas from children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and Hashem shemi mamale kol mishaliseinu l'tova. Now, Rabbi say, we're going to learn tomorrow's Mishnah Yomis. That's what we're going to do now. Good job.
Thanks for a year of Torah learning.
You're very welcome.
For a whole year of Torah learning.
You're very welcome.
See you to everybody.
Yes, Aksiva Chsima Taiva.
Good job, everyone. Good job.
Rabbi Avram, we're going to miss you very much.
I appreciate it.